Wow. What a finale. Supercross is over. 17 rounds in the book. The 250 class was definitely more entertaining than the 450 class. 450 class, we saw exactly what we expected. And if you guys watched my Supercross breakdown video, I talked specifically about having the takeout corner, which ended up going with Seth and RJ. And just to prove it here, see what we have from there. I look on moving it here. Oh, that's the wrong bit. Oh my goodness. It's not. What is it in here? Yeah, takeout corner. Supercross. Only 4,000 of you guys ended up watching that, but you know what? We saw exactly what happened there. And there's some gnarly stuff that happened between Davies and Jordan Smith as well. But first, let's talk about the takeout and the team orders between KTM and Yamaha. Deegan in the 250 class did exactly what he was going to do, go out with a bang. He's the champ. He's the winner. A bunch of people are going to argue that he's the fastest rider. I would say that Cole is probably, I think, would have won the whole thing if he didn't get landed on by Jordan Smith. So maybe that's a good segue to what happened with Jordan Smith here. And this is one of those things where I'm kind of indifferent. Okay. Like, whose fault is it? Whose fault is it? Is it Davies or is it Jordan Smith? Well, I kind of want to say both of their faults are. Okay. You've got Davies, case the step on, step off, or the triple step on, step off, and just gets cleaned out by Jordan. And I personally think that Davies may have a broken back. I mean, that was so bad. I'm hoping he is going to be okay. This was kind of worst case scenario. So if we somewhat break this down, and I will in my other videos have a better view of it here, there's two things that happened. Is, a lot of guys say, hey, you're never supposed to roll a rhythm section. I agree. However, everyone does it. And as long as you're not in the main line, you are okay. And these guys know if you're not going to be jumping the jumps, well, you go really down to the bottom or way, way to the far high side. You're not in the middle of the track. So yes, I hope Davies is okay as well, because I personally think he's the fastest guy there. And little Blaster, yeah, you've got D, and he won the championship. We knew he was going to win the championship. He's got a more built program altogether, from experience to confidence to speed. Yes. But when it comes to just sheer speed, technique, I think Cole has him beat there for now. Right. But he doesn't have the other factors. Okay. And you can't just win on a dirt bike just because of speed. You got to have confidence and the ego, the mojo, things have got to be working well. So yes, RJ, due to Florida guys do crash. We'll get into that. There's a kind of a lot to unpack here for quite a bit of what's going on. But with this whole scenario, okay, coming from Davies' standpoint, okay, he's got kind of the right of way. He's in front of Jordan. He jumps a major jump, then he checks up and he's rolling around. Okay, so Jordan should have seen what the guy is doing, especially if you're in a big rhythm lane. You can see that, hey, some guy, you're rolling, catching up. So he have to be basically closing his eyes to not see another rider in front of him rolling around the track. Okay. But then from Jordan's perspective, what did Davies do wrong? Okay. Well, not only did he roll, well, he started to move into the main line. He was from the left to the right. He was in the main line. So it was worst case scenario for both riders. Cole shouldn't have been moving around, taking the main line. And then Jordan should have had some heads up where he's got a lot of faith in the rider in front of him to not get in the main line. So he's still going to jump it. Maybe he's on his fast lap, whatever. So for that instance, I believe both riders are at fault. It's hard to say one is more guilty than the other because I see it both ways. And yeah, whatever, you can say that I'm not being real. That's just how I see it. Okay. I see it that Cole rolled, and lots of guys roll during qualifying. Okay. They do one good lap and then they kind of roll around. What Davies did wrong was he swerved left and right and he got in the main line. Okay. What Jordan did was he didn't check up. He saw the rider in front of him slowing down. That's just what happens. Right. But I really hope that Cole is okay. And yeah, you are not being real. I don't give a shit, dude. That's how I see it. So you can leave the damn chat room if you don't think so. So, and this guy, hit the like button, everyone, please. Yeah. And we've got more about the Seth. Oh yeah. Seth should have told LJ to, he would have gotten a fine. But Jordan jumped. He saw the rider in front of him was getting in his line and he jumped, right? You could argue both ways. Okay. I think it's a little inexperience from Cole because he's moving in and out of the track. He's going to know to hold his line. That's what Cole did wrong, was he didn't hold his line. Okay. But Jordan, you don't give your entire faith to the rider in front of you not to, if you see him rolling around, right? It goes both ways. It goes both ways. This wasn't one of those it was a freak accident that was for both of them. And it fucked both of them up. Right. And I really hope that Cole is okay, that we don't see a supreme athlete and up and coming star get sidelined forever. I'm really hoping he is going to be okay. And he's probably not going to be good for motocross here. So he's had a rough couple of weeks. Okay. That's just plain and simple. And Seth was robbed by the championship. So if we go over that I think that there was some potentially team orders with both the East and West KTM guys with Juju. By the way, Juju's One Industries gear looked awesome. I really like that white. It looked pretty slick. But when he was getting passed by Seth, he came in super hard, and that those guys are fighting for a championship. So just kind of take the L and slow down and be willing to just take third. But no, he was like, nope, I'm taking the second, and he almost took out Seth. And I believe that is some sort of team orders because they know that their guy Tom is racing for the championship. Okay. If I was the team manager, that's exactly what I'd be telling my guys is you help out. You get in between these guys, you slow up the pace, you do whatever. There's lots of money on the line. I asked Deegan and he said it was for $500,000 for his bonus. So boom, of course these guys are going to play some sort of a strategy there. So, okay. I hit a deer that walked in front of me at 70 miles an hour. Whose fault is it? Well, it's probably your fault for hitting. Well, no, it's probably the deer's fault. Okay. The deer doesn't know anything. We're talking about two guys that know race etiquette here. Okay. And if you go to any sort of qualifying with these guys, you see guys roll the track all the time, and you see guys check up for each other all the time here. And I'm not saying that it's pure Jordan's fault. I never said that it was totally Jordan's fault. I said Cole was in the main line. That's what Cole did wrong. Cole shouldn't have been going left and right. He should have held his line. Okay. But as soon as Jordan saw that Cole was going left and right, he could have just doubled rather than tripled. Okay. So it goes both, and it happens like an instant. Cole went left and right instantly, and Jordan had nowhere to go but on his back. It's a shit situation. It's just unfortunate. Yeah, there's a little bit of inexperience when it comes to Davies for not holding his line. But again, Jordan, the more experienced rider, should know that. Okay. So it's just one of those things. Cues the X-Files musics, Johnny. Yeah. Cue the X-Files musics. I'm not at the race. I had to cancel my flights. There's some stuff that's been going on, but we're talking about racing. We're not talking about what's happening in my life. So there is that Venmo at the top where we're helping Jerry Robin out as well here. But what I'm digressing, what we were talking about with the whole Seth and RJ phenomenon with the team orders that I think KTM was going on. Okay. So we had this takeout move, and you saw that, in on my YouTube channel, we talked about that this was going to be a takeout corner for sure. And of course, it was RJ that was going to make the move. RJ, unfortunately, his history says that he's going to do some sort of something that puts him on his head, makes mistakes. That guy should have won so many more races. I call him kind of the Chase of the 250 class because that's sort of what happens. Okay. Seth had, I wouldn't say the championship in the bag, but he was damn close. Okay. Juju messed him up and he got right back at Juju. Like, dude, I'm racing for a championship, goes out there. RJ, no disrespect. He saw an opportunity and he saw, just this is my shot, and he took it. It's exactly what Deegan did the round before, right? But this was way more of a clean out move than what Deegan did to Cole last weekend in Denver. This was, I'm going to take you over the berm. Maybe he could have been a little bit less aggressive. Sure, right? But arguably Seth has been faster than RJ, so he had to do what he had to do, and he wants to win the championship. Boom. I give it up to him for doing that. But what's the crazy thing about the whole thing is that you've got Tom Viall, who basically had the championship taken away from him. His whole race was unraveling from starting out front to moving back to 5th place to then getting gifted. And yes, I say gifted because he straight up got gifted, but nobody's going to give a fuck that he got gifted the championship at the end of the night or in the history book. All they're going to know is he's a defending champion, right? It's what is it? Toretto says it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile, winning is winning, right? I keep hearing that all the time. But yeah, it was 100% gifted, but the check still clears, right? What is he supposed to do? He's supposed to just let those guys back by him because they were being knuckleheads and took each other out? Yeah, I feel worse for Seth than I do RJ because RJ's done that kind of antics before. I've asked him stuff at the press conferences about his aggressive riding, and that's just kind of his MO, right? I personally think that him and Sexton, they would have won a lot more races and arguably potentially championships if they just toned it down a little bit. But how are you supposed to tell a racehorse to tone it down? That's just, it's in their blood. It's hard to do. Right. And so that's why you have people around you, team managers, agents, whatever, mental coaches that are supposed to help you with that stuff. It's going to sting bad for Seth. It's going to sting bad for RJ, but RJ's done this to himself a few different times. Right. And how do you whip a dirt bike across the finish line? Well, you tuck your sphincter and you stick it out way to the left. And yeah, I'm just kidding. That's not how you do it. Yeah, you lean it and you do it with your hips. But that was a booter of a finish line for sure. And I was actually impressed with how the track managed to hold up. I'm not super impressed with the whole 5 p.m. races on the Mountain Standard Time stuff. They want to keep it with the Eastern time for 7 p.m., but it's just not that cool to see fireworks go off during the day. You got shadows and everything. That's just not, I mean, if we want to see a Washougal race, we go to Washougal with all the shadows. We don't go to a Supercross for it. Yeah, I get open stadiums, whatnot, keep it all at 7 p.m. We all like to have it earlier on TV, but it's just, it's not the same. Not the same. And Seth, if I'm going back to the race at hand, was turning his series around for Pro Circuit and himself. It just shows you that winning a race proves that, hey, you can do it. So you're going to potentially try harder. And it's a bummer that he lost the championship. Am I happy that Tom won? Yeah, I'm happy that Tom won because I'm a big Tom Viall fan. I've been a Tom Viall fan for a long time, but truthfully, Seth was robbed, plain and simple. There's nothing else you can say about that. And you guys are saying Pro Circuit is freaking cursed. Yeah, I would say Pro Circuit is crazy cursed for some dumb reason. And what's even crazier is the 450 class that you have Tomac potentially going to KTM. That, I was hearing rumors when I was at Denver with people talking that Tomac was wanting $9 million to go to a different manufacturer. And I was like, I couldn't believe. I'm like, there's no way that it's that big of a number. Maybe 2, but 9 is effing crazy. Crazy. And especially going with the Premier Mobility Group that can't pay anybody. They're damn near going through bankruptcy. We're not sure if BMW is actually going to buy him out or anything. So how is he going to go to KTM? But I see him going to KTM for the sheer fact that it is a program that is all in place. They know what they're doing. But if they don't have the resources, I don't see why Tomac would go, right? But anyway, I'm somewhat digressing yet again, because for the 450 class, not RJ, but Webb played it perfect. And there was more team orders there. You saw AP, who was out front, basically go from first to sixth in a rhythm section, which arguably was sort of doing the same thing that Cole was doing, but he was still doubling it. So maybe you could argue that Cole should have just doubled it, but they're taking a breather in qualifying because they're trying to just do one fast lap, because it's all about one fast lap. So I urge anybody that actually go to the races and you watch qualifying, you'll see guys roll all the time. Race Day Live doesn't show it as much because they're trying to keep the action pumping. So they're showing guys that are out there that are doing a heaters, right? But they're not doing heaters the entire time. The futures guys during qualifying, they go out like it's just a effing moto where they just go balls to the wall for the whole 8 minutes. But the actual qualifying for those guys, they do one hot lap and maybe 2 hot laps, then roll around for a little bit, somebody gets in their way, and then they do another one. But that is going back to the team orders between KTM and then also Justin Cooper. Justin Cooper had multiple opportunities to pass his teammate, and it wasn't until basically the end of the race until he actually got by him. Right? I don't know if it was a pit board or what before he actually pulled the freaking trigger, but there was plain as day times that he just rolled up where he did not go on the inside of Cooper. And there was lots of tension between these guys at Denver, having them walk into the press conference. This was last weekend. They were arguing with each other. They were not happy with each other. So I'm sure there was more going down there where, of course, they want to help each other out, help him get third on the podium for Cooper, Justin, and then for Webb, win the championship, obviously. But there was definitely team orders in both the 250 and 450 class. And I would also say that the 450 guys, man, Sexton won with class, but man, if he wouldn't have done, what was it? Was it in Texas where he ran into Cooper on the last lap? He would have won the race. He would have won the championship, but that thing really messed him up. Okay. Small mistakes made him lose this championship. And I would have expected a little bit more sparks, but Cooper is not the guy that you mess with, not the guy that you push around. But definitely the 250 class had way more sparks fly than the 450 class. The 450 class was somewhat boring because you have a lot of guys out. I mean, Stewart was riding his ass off. If there was 18 whoops as opposed to 9, he might have won the fucker, but there wasn't. So what are you supposed to say about that? We just don't like the 9 whoop rule here. And I read some more comments. You guys think RJ would have tucked the front end turn if he didn't hit Seth? Looked like he was losing angle. He was hauling ass. He was going in there with authority. So he was going in there so hot that he needed Seth to stop him. As you can see, his bike is underneath Seth. He totally just went in there and just took out his ankles. Just boom, right? We did not see that in Denver, but I will keep you guys up to date if I hear anything from Cole, because that is, I hate to see it. I hate to see it. People are saying that he may have a broken back. Dude, that was so bad. Here, I mean, I guess we'll go back and look at it just briefly. And I am so mad at crypto right now. This is what's going on. Okay. He should have held his line. He rolled over here. Boom. Was not expecting to get hit. Jordan, I don't even need to commentate over that, but these guys both are speaking words here. And these guys are not wearing real big chest protectors. So it was just a shit situation for both of them. Triple, step on, step off, cases it, boom. Should have held his line, go way wide. Boom. Lands on the motorcycle. There's a better angle of it during the broadcast. I just have to wait till to finish the upload to see it. But that is crazy. And you know, it looked like it might have been just the one arm injury, but if that's it, that is crazy. And it has a lot to show with how fit these guys are, that they can heal and take damage, basically take damage. I'm surprised that Jordan's not hurt as much, because he's like almost in his 30s here, but that dude just keeps getting wrecked. He wrecked himself in the whoops. I think it was at Texas here. And this was a freak accident, right? Like, I really don't take fault for anyone. I'm not going to sit here and just put blame on just one dude. Again, I think that there's a little bit of inexperience with Cole for not holding his line. He didn't have the spatial awareness of that. Hey, there possibly could be somebody jumping the rhythm behind me, right? So this is the amateur Cole that we're seeing. And we've seen that a lot with guys coming up through the ranks. You could say that to Carmichael. You could say that to Jet. You could say that to Deegan during his first season too. Like, the spatial awareness is just not at that top tier professional level yet. Okay. And that's where then I put stuff on Jordan for knowing that a guy is rolling in front of you. You know, that's spatial awareness. Yeah, he was on his heater and whatnot. That shouldn't have happened. Cole shouldn't have been his line, you know, but he was ultimately the guy that jumped into the back of him. So it's hard to give somebody, hey, it was more this guy's fault than the other guy's fault. We know that motorcycles are inherently dangerous, and that's just what happened. Okay. Much different story than when we talk about this move here. Okay, I'd just be a dipshit if I said that this was Seth's fault. No, this was completely RJ's fault. But I will say, if I was in RJ's shoes, like, seeing it from his perspective, he was going to win the championship. Was this the only way he was going to win the championship? Yeah, basically, because Seth was running away from him. Okay, he had riders slowing him up, so he took the shot. He just didn't have the luck that Deegan did by taking him over the berm, and, you know, you still go about and win. Just nuts. Completely nuts. But I'll be ready for Supercross as well. You know, Husky took out a KX for the Chip of Osborne reference. Yeah, I am going to be incredibly surprised if AMA does not at least give RJ a written warning for over aggressive riding, because they did it to Deegan the round before, and this was just a clear takeout move for a championship. Like, we knew he was going for it, but yeah, that was straight up just overly aggressive riding. And as I said in my video before, we knew that corner was going to set up perfectly for a takeout scenario, right? But yeah. Okay, guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments below. You know, I will try to answer most of them for sure. And yeah, till next time, as effing always, keep it fucking WFO. For people that don't know what the freaking, what is it? I want to say algorithm, but that's not algorithm. You know, the hyphen, what WFO means. Wide fucking open. Just like FMF used to be fast motherfucker. Plain and simple, but it ended up into Flying Machine Factory. And we got Brandon with acronym. Thank you for freaking saying acronym. Now I need to go to Costco, go get some Costco cookies, and yeah. So I'm bummed that I wasn't at the race. Okay. You know, like, I emailed Supercross and everything. Like, guys, I got to change my plans. I can't come because there's just something going on, and I had to take it because family is first. Family always comes first. But till next time, I already said that, right? So you guys in the chat room saying that, boom. And the Derpy Rock, whatever you can, we'll try to help out for sure. Okay, guys. Bra da 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 da.